My goal for today is to finish behind this shower. Finish the mechanical. It already has the discharge for the front sump pump. That's this one. It has a vent for the holding tank. That's this one. And it has the discharge for the shower sump pump. That's this one. And this is suction to empty the holding tank. And I've got that hard line starting here. I need to complete the air conditioner discharge water. I'm going to have to add a through hull closer down toward the water level so it won't make so much noise. And I need to add a big electrical cable so that we can have shore power connections on this side of the boat. And I need to run a thermostat wire from the air conditioner to straight above us in the front cabin. And then I can button up this hole and finish out this shower actually. To drill a hole right here for this through hole. I don't have a hole saw bit, so I'm just going to drill a hole and then grind it out to fit. And I've been inside to measure to make sure that I'm not going to hit anything in there when I drill, hopefully. Turns out that where I drilled, I don't know if this is going to show, there's an inner hole and an outer hole, and I had to drill through both of them. I'm not too crazy about this because there's going to be a gap between. I think I need to go on the inside and cut some of that inner hole so the nut can come all the way back and squeeze this just to the outer hole. I'm going to have to go in there and see what it looks like. Okay. I sure didn't know this. Where I drilled through, there's another layer. It looks like the very bottom of the next layer. I don't know if you can see that. There's a sheet of fiberglass and there's a piece of wood behind it. And then there's the exterior hull. And I would really like for the through hull to just clamp on the exterior hull. So I think I'm going to have to see if I can get in here and grind. I don't think. Okay, so actually that wasn't that bad. I grinded a little bit and now I'm going to be able to get the nut against the outside hull, which is what I wanted. Okay. The big wire has been pulled from this corner of the upper cabinet down behind the shower, across the back of the shower, that little plenum which is about to get closed up. And it goes behind the air conditioner. And it'll go, it's right there under the steps. And it pulls into this closet where the panel is, in case we ever need it. The wire that should have been the easiest turned out to be kind of tricky because there's a solid block between here and the opening behind the shower. And I didn't know, so once I figured it out, I just drilled it up, made a mess. Interior walls that are going to be painted are easy to fix. So wires in there, so we are officially complete behind the shower. We're going to kind of close it up. And that is that. It is buttoned up. Although the coward in me, I didn't put any glue in it and I didn't staple it. I put it with screws, so just in case I need to pull it out in the next couple of weeks. But anyway, I think it's done. And on this side we have a vanity. It's just sitting, a commode, it's just sitting. And I got to figure out the piping for these two. And in the shower, the back wall of the shower, we've cut a piece of the old ceiling and caulked it, glued it to the wall. It's pretty challenging because it's a full-size sheet and it's taller than the doorway and it's wider than the shower itself, and you got some pipe sticking out. But anyway, we got it in here. It did not want to sit flat against the wall, so I put some screws up high where the trim will cover it, and then it hung, and then we just put some braces horizontally and kicked them to the corner. And I'm going to leave them overnight, and hopefully the caulk will hold it forever and ever. If not, I can put some stainless steel screws. There's plywood behind it. Put some stainless steel OG washers. So tomorrow I'll do this side, and the next day I'll do this side. And so I'm looking at my my ceiling, and it is not rotten, and there's no signs of it ever leaking, but it is woefully under-designed. Look at this. This knot goes almost all the way through. This is a 10-foot span. It's a 1x4 white pine, ponderosa pine, or whatever you want to call it. They drill the holes. Half of the size of the board is the hole for the wires, and it looks like it is toenailed. It's not sitting on a shelf on the ends. It is, well, doesn't look like that. It is definitely not sitting on a shelf at the end, and it's starting to sag a little bit. It does have blocks glued up. That's where the handrail upstairs screws down, so that's a good thing. It has these little blocks between. This is I call it deadwood. It's just something to screw the ceiling to, and they pop off pretty easily. So I think what I'm gonna have to do is somehow get this curve. Now I've got it jacked up really, really high. It's creaking and groaning. It is lifted up from this cabinet top a good bit. It's lifted up from the bathroom top a good bit. So, and you can see here where this part is pushed up, and this part is not pushed up, and it's bent to plywood, and this joist is in its original position. So anyway, and I did that because if I glue a brace on both sides, it's still going to come down some. So I wanted to make sure we were high enough. So I just got to decide what I'm going to put as stiffeners. I'll go up in my attic and see what I have, because I probably won't buy anything. Okay, today I'm going to start the process of doubling up these ceiling joists. Got a kind of an issue. I've got it pushed up with this 2x4, probably pushed up an inch from its normal, and it'll probably come back down a ½ inch, and that'll be about perfect. But I want to put a stiffener on both sides of the rafter, and with the brace there I can only get one on one side, so I think I'm gonna I'm not sure, I'll cut a pair, screw it and glue it to one side, and put a temporary support before the glue dries, and cut this brace back to here. Sorry about the shaking. Cut the brace back and try to do a pair of these at one time. That way I can do a pair at this end and a pair at the other end, and do 2 rafters a day, or maybe 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon. That'd be a 4 a day. So I can knock this out in a few days and not 3 weeks. And one more thing, with the 2 air conditioner units up here on the deck removed and the holes patched, oh, it's gonna be a nice deck up here. It's very large. Be a nice deck. This is the lumber I'm going to use to brace up the ceiling joist. This is some old siding that came out of a house. I ripped most of the tongue and most of the groove off so they'd be more uniform, and then I ran them through the planer on the backside so I'd have a good glue surface. It's really beautiful material. It's a shame to use it where it won't be seen, but I've got it. I'm not getting any younger, so I'm going to use it up for this purpose. I think I have enough to put 2 on every joist that we have in the boat. So to get my braces on both sides of the last rafter, I had to cut the brace down, and therefore the rafter sagged back to where it was. So I have a plan. I'm going to glue one side, put it up, shoot in a nail or 2 with the gun, glue the other side, put it up, shoot in a nail or 2. That's just to keep it from falling, and then put the jack under it and jack up just that ceiling joist independently until it groans, and then I'll clamp all the clamps tight. Well, let's see if it works. Okay. Well, I ran out of memory in the phone while I was videoing, but it went up pretty well. I put glue on both boards, put them up there, shot a gun nail in each side just so it wouldn't fall down. Put a brace, jacked it till it groaned, and put clamps. And I did the same thing on this opposite end. So I have enough clamps to do 2 at a time. And if I do 2 pairs a day, I should be able to take these clamps off in a few hours. If I do 2 pairs a day, I could theoretically finish this little part of the job tomorrow. The bracing up of the ceiling is complete. Wasn't that bad. Where the old ceiling was framed with 1x4s, I put 2 1x's, 1 on each side. Where the old ceiling had a 2x4, I put 1 1x4 just on one side. So it is a huge difference. The water doesn't pond on the roof up anymore, and it's been raining like crazy, so I know that for a fact. And it just feels better up there. And also started going through the breaker panel and chasing wires and trying to figure out what's what. And I think we have most of it figured out. So 2 or 3 hours of wiring and rewiring, and we'll be able to start putting the finished wall back on, which amounts to 1/4 inch plywood and paint. So coming along. And I got an air conditioner too. That's sweet. So right now I would be adding more blue electrical boxes, but I can't find my hammer, which I had in my hand 1 minute ago. This is what I do all day long. Look for things that I just had.